Welcome back to this week's soccer betting news video. I'm Ayanda Vezi, and with me is Desh, Parthab. As usual, we always bring you nothing but football. Today, we'll be previewing the game between Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspurs, who are currently they seem to be a situation that is happening at the club. Desh, welcome, man.
How's it, Ayanda? Hi, SPN viewers.
Yeah, Desh, let's get into it. Liverpool versus Tottenham Hotspurs at Anfield. We know Anfield.
Very dangerous place.
Yeah, it's a no-go area there. But I want us to first focus on the visitors, Spurs. Last week we did mention that there is a lot that is going on there at Spurs. The coach now, Stellini, who was in charge after they sacked Antonio Conte, he's also shown the door that, no, thank you for your services. My question is, most of the time, people are pointing fingers at the coach, saying we don't get results because of the coach. Now I want you to tell me, are Spurs players taking enough responsibility to take the blame, or are they just tired? What's happening?
To be honest, I think a bit of the focus from the owner's perspective, that being Daniel Levy, has been on the areas outside of the football pitch. Outside of Harry Kane, actually, who's been involved in 45% of their Premier League goals this season, which is the most from all his teammates, actually.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anybody who has risen to the occasion. I know you asked, is it a bit of a case of tiredness? I'm not sure if you mean fatigue or mental fatigue, rather.
Both, actually.
Both,
yeah, because Spurs last season, they did quite good,
They won the top four.
They were in the Champions League, but now they were within the top four, but now it seems like they are dropping out.
From it.
And Aston Villa are coming in. Liverpool are also coming into that number 4 position.
Villa have leapfrogged them. Villa actually at the time of recording are in 5th place following their victory. I think it was against Fulham.
Yeah, it was against Wolves.
Okay, yeah.
Fulham rather.
Fulham, yeah. So for me, it is a bit of fatigue. I think the players don't want to be there, if I'm being honest. You look at Emerson Royal, whose his father is his agent. Came out and said, I think it's time for him to move on and look for another club. He said he fits somebody like Real Madrid. I imagine, are you saying that this is a Real Madrid player at Tottenham Hotspur? Obviously, we know that there's a good relationship between Tottenham and Real Madrid. But I'm not sure if Emerson ends up there. And if he does, is that Real Madrid quality in Tottenham Hotspur? Why are they 5th then? So that's my first point. But also, the squad has been hit by many injuries this season. So I don't think that really played in their favor. You look at Bentancur's out for, I think he's been ruled out for half the season with his ACL. I know there was Yves Bissouma also didn't have much of a season, and that was due to, I'm not sure, off the pitch antics or his injury. But also Lloris was injured for a bit, and he actually got subbed off in there. 6-1 hiding by Newcastle. I think Stellini, when he was still in charge at Spurs, took the club captain Hugo Lloris and World Cup winning captain, obviously that being with France, off at halftime, and that was without an injury. He just said, I think it's time for a substitution, and I think that was a brave move. But my overarching sentiment is that the owner, I think he could be more looking outside of the club, for investments and things like that, because I think that they are run very well. You look at Antonio Conte, who did say the owner has been there for about 20 years. The managers are changing, but the owner is still there. And they've had top managers in his defense, in Daniel Levy's defense. He's hired the best of the best. You look at Conte, who had a very good pedigree. Jose Mourinho was there. He kept faith with Pochettino as well. Pochettino was there for about, I think, 5 years or something. So, and there has been some good players coming into the club. You look at Richarlison, 60 mil, Son as well from Germany. He's been a real hit at the club, but I'm not sure that was to attract Asian investment or what.
Yeah. So you're speaking about Pochettino. I want you to ask if maybe did they made the right decision by firing him. Yes, he's linked now with Chelsea, of which is their
London rival, yeah.
So do you think maybe Spurs, they made a mistake by firing him at that time when he was at Spurs?
I was really happy with Pochettino, and I just want to maybe sing his praises a bit. That season that they did reach the Champions League final, he didn't buy a single player in both windows. And I mean both, I mean the January window and the window preceding that, the summer, the actual transfer window. The number one target was Jack Grealish in that window, and they didn't get him. And Poch said, we'd rather not buy a player that he doesn't think fits the squad and waits. And I think that just shows how, his responsibility to the club and financial responsibility as well, They did go and buy a few players after that, but his priority was to lock down his current squad on long-term deals. And I think Son had extended, Toby Alderweireld extended, Hugo Lloris had extended the season before that. Vertonghen and Alderweireld, the centre-back partnership was really huge in those 3 seasons under Poch. Also, Dele Alli was there. Dele Alli confirmed. Harry Kane confirmed. So instead of using the money to buy players, he tied his team down for a long contract. And the next season was absolutely horrible. They were thrashed in the Champions League. I think Bayern Munich hit them for 7 at the stadium.
Yeah.
But that also is another, I think, elephant in the room. Tottenham have a world-class stadium. I think it's over £1 billion. And you look at the number of tourist attractions that stadium is capable of. I believe Lady Gaga has performed over there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think Elton John as well. There was also an F kart at E Formula One kart around Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. There's also the NFL games, which I believe happens quite often there. So do you see what I mean? There's so many things around the club that are happening at the same time, and performances on the pitch, you have to wonder if it's linked.
So now, should Spurs rather sell their players and try to reshuffle, to rebuild the squad? Should they put Son on transfer list? Obviously, Harry Kane will definitely leave this season.
Yeah.
So do you think maybe they should sell some of their key players and try to rebuild the team? Because surely the new coach will come in next season.
So on the case of selling players, I know previously, if you look at a club like Arsenal, they sold players to pay back the stadium money,
Yeah.
I think Arsene Wenger's every season, his objective was to get them in the Champions League, get that qualification money to repay the stadium. I'm not sure if Spurs are going to adapt that same approach. But if they do, I don't think those players are worth the sum that they, at least on market value. I think their price tag has dropped. And I don't think it'll be a good move if they choose to do a squad overall, because how are they going to attract new talent, the talent that they want? You look at somebody who exciting was Brian Hill.
Yeah.
He was in, I think he's a Spanish international. I'm sure he's been capped by Spain, but I think he went back to Sevilla. He was hopping between the two. They signed him, went on loan. He came back. I think he went back on loan. So, that's a player that has openly said that, his heart lies in Spain. If you look at somebody like Tanga and Ndombele, that is a really good midfielder. I believe he's at Napoli now, who are about to lift the Serie A.
Yeah, they have already won the Serie A.
They've already won the Serie A. So you see what I mean? That's a player who has opted for greener pastures, and he might actually have a trophy in the bag. So I'm not sure if the players now, that they have the pool, the target market has just gotten a lot smaller.
Okay. Now Spurs are going to Anfield. We know Anfield, Liverpool thrashed United 7.
Yeah.
And now Spurs, you see, they don't have a coach. They everything, they are in a worse situation now. They are going to Anfield. By the time of recording, they will play to Man United on Thursday. So do you see them coming out alive at Anfield? Or?
To be honest, I don't think anybody in their right mind thinks Spurs is going to get anything from this game. Anfield has proven to be one of the toughest ground, not just this season. Despite Liverpool's performances, they've been very strong at Anfield.
Yeah.
But over the last half a decade or so, I believe Virgil van Dijk, he's either not lost a home league game at Anfield or maybe won. I'm not sure if that stat, but I know it had been for like 3 seasons or something. As long as he was on the pitch, they didn't lose at Anfield in the league. or this season rather, I think Leeds is the only club that has inflicted a home league loss. I'm not sure if Van Dijk was on a pitch in that one. I do recall Joe Gomez was there. But do you see what I mean? Like they've been really strong, even though Liverpool have been like outside of the European places for majority of the season. Their form at Anfield is incredibly strong, and I think they win against Spurs.
Jota is back at the club. He scored on the weekend. What is the impact of him being back at the squad?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. Not just for the pitch, but also for training, because I think he just increases the attacking output and sort of galvanizes the players in and around him. They just look like a different sort of beast with him in the team. And I know Luis Diaz is also undergoing his injury rehabilitation. I'm not sure when he's expected, but that is another Liverpool attacker who you just can't write off. You back them to score against any single opponent. And Jota, he did score on the weekend. He's actually got 4 goals in his previous 2 Premier League appearances and an assist. 5 goal involvements in your previous 2, and you were injured for you had a long-term injury.
Massive, eh?
Very big, and I think that just highlights the impact that he's had in the team.
Yeah. Okay. So now I know Liverpool, they started very bad this season. Now they seem like they are coming back. Now they are trying to fight for that top 4 position. Do you think they will get that spot, or maybe they will even go to Europa League? Where do you see them finishing?
So
Liverpool?
I think the European place is still up for grabs. At the time of recording, Spurs are, I believe, on 6th place. They've just been leapfrogged by Aston Villa. And obviously 6th place means, I think it's Europa qualification. And then 7th is Conference League. I think Liverpool definitely get to Europe. I'm not sure if it's going to be Conference League or Europa League, but it's going to be one of them, because 5 of their last 8 Premier League games are at Anfield. 5 of 8, which tells me that those are practically 5 wins.
So if it goes like this, Aston Villa winning their games, which means and Liverpool continuing with the way they are doing, you see Spurs playing in the Conference League.
To be honest, I don't think Spurs make European qualification. Yeah, I really don't think so. I think that they are going to drop. To be honest, no disrespect to Ryan Mason, but I don't think he's capable of galvanizing that team and firing them into the European qualifications. But in terms of Liverpool, though, I don't think Champions League is going to be a reality for them next season. I think that gap to United is too big, and they've left it a bit too late, to be honest. I know that Aston Villa and Man United have to play a head-to-head, so the best outcome for Liverpool would be a draw, or maybe a goalless draw, or whatever. I'm not sure if it'll go down to goal difference, but those 2 teams do need to play one of their fixtures, and I think Liverpool, they could actually win 8 of their final 8 games, so it could go down to the final day, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Now it's time for prediction. Give me a prediction. Liverpool, Tottenham.
Yeah, I think Liverpool win by a margin of 3 or more goals. That's an emphatic win, and I even think that they might keep a clean sheet. I mentioned Harry Kane having been involved in 45% of the goals, but to be honest, he's been their leading. He's been involved in the most goals for Spurs in the Premier League for 7 of the previous 9 seasons, with Son being the other 2 leading those charts. But 7 of the previous 9, it tells you that he's their number 1 player. He's been their number 1 player for like a decade, and it's gonna be sad to see him leave Spurs. But he's somebody that he might just get in the score sheet. But to be honest, I'm not holding my breath.
Well, I gave my Pantani as well, and Desh has predicted that it's gonna be 3 goals or more. So make sure that you take those tips and put them on that betting slip. From me, Ayanda, Vezi, and Desh Parthab. Until next time,
cheers.
We out.
For more soccer betting tips and previews, get the latest copy of Soccer Betting News for only 10 Rand at your nearest Hollywood Bets branch or news agent.